The decade is coming to a close. In this video, I'm going to talk about my 25 favorite films of the decade. Not the best, my favorite. Keep in mind, I have not seen every film, but I'd like to hear your list in the comments down below. Maybe some that I haven't seen that I should check out. These are my own opinions. Some of these films I've watched once, and the list changes a bit, but this is my list for right now. Here we go. Coming in at number 25 is 127 Hours, directed by Danny Boyle from 2011. I love this film. It's one of James Franco's best performances. Not his best. I think his best is probably in The Disaster Artist. This film is like so claustrophobic and very disturbing at some moments, but just a masterpiece. Coming in at number 24 is Blind Spotting, directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada from 2018. This is another great film that I checked out maybe in November or this month, and it's my favorite film of 2018. David Diggs is fantastic, and the other guy, I forget his name, I'm sorry. He's also so good in the film. It has so many emotional moments and really funny things too, and that ending is one of my favorite movie endings of the 2010s. Coming in at number 23 is Drive, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Drive is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen visually. The colors pop off the screen. Ryan Gosling is great as a driver, Nicholas Winding Refn is amazing behind the camera, and this is such a good film. I feel like it might go up if I watch it more than once, because I've only seen it once. Coming in at number 22 is The Fighter, directed by David O. Russell. The Fighter is fantastic. It features one of Christian Bale's best performances, my favorite actor. Mark Wahlberg is also fantastic in this. It just tells such a sad kind of true story, but also just one that really pumps you up in some moments. Coming in at 21 is Baby Driver, directed by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright has become now one of my favorite filmmakers with this, Shaun of the Dead, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which I don't think's on this list, but it would easily be an honorable mention. I love all the films I've seen from him, and Baby Driver is another great one with beautiful colors, great acting, great everything. Coming in at number 20 is The Master, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. And Paul Thomas Anderson, well, he's a master. Joaquin Phoenix gives one of the best performances of the decade and one of the best of his career. Philip Seymour Hoffman is also great in the film. I highly recommend this one for basically everyone who loves film. Coming in at number 19 is the newly released The Irishman, directed by Martin Scorsese from this year. And I realized I stopped saying the years for the films, but yeah. The Irishman was a film I was super excited for, and I was not disappointed. This film is great. De Niro, Pesci, Pacino, and Scorsese all in a gangster film. It's gotta be great. Coming in at number 18 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino, also from this year. Quentin Tarantino, he's currently my favorite director, and I love basically all the films. He's never made a bad film, and this one is also great. Leo is fantastic. Brad Pitt gives my favorite supporting performance of the year, and Cliff Booth is my favorite character of this entire year, 2019. Coming in at number 17 is Hacksaw Ridge, directed by Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is a great actor, you know, Braveheart, Signs. He has some great films. Yes, I love Signs, but he's also great behind the camera, and Hacksaw Ridge is a great example of that. Andrew Garfield is fantastic in this, and the action is super disturbing, but amazing. Coming in at number 16 tops the list for my favorite film of this year, and that is The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers. The Lighthouse is a masterpiece. I don't really know what genre to put it in. It's kind of a thriller. It has horror elements, but it's also a drama, so I don't know what category to put it in, but it is fantastic. It's shot in like the box kind of aspect ratio in black and white, and it is still creepy. The two lead performances by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are amazing. This is a masterpiece, as every single film on this list is. Coming in at number 15 is Moonlight, directed by Barry Jenkins. Moonlight is a masterpiece, and I really mean that. Moonlight is one of the best films. This is my favorite list, but Moonlight is one of the best films of the 2010s, I think. Mahershala Ali is fantastic. Every actor that plays the lead character, I forget his name, they're all great. The entire cast is fantastic. Barry Jenkins is phenomenal behind the camera. This is one that everyone should check out at least once in their lifetime. Coming in at number 14 is Inside Llewyn Davis, directed by the Coen brothers. Inside Llewyn Davis is a film that I watched recently, and there's one way that perfectly describes it, and that's what Carson Runquist wrote in his Letterboxd review, and I'm just going to read that to you because it's exactly how I feel. Sometimes the exact movie you needed at that exact moment naturally comes along long, and there's really no better feeling in the world. Don't know where Inside Llewyn Davis has been all my life, but I'm glad it showed up now. Coming in at number 13 is Nightcrawler, directed by Dan Gilroy. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in this is probably my second favorite of the entire decade. Nightcrawler is such a great film. I love Nightcrawler so much. I've seen the film maybe 3 times now, and every time I watch it, it just gets better. It has one of the best screenplays that I've probably ever seen. Jake Gyllenhaal memorized the entire screenplay like a show, a Broadway show, and it really shows. He's fantastic. Coming in at number 12 is a childhood favorite of mine. It's up there, I don't want to grab it, but that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, directed by David Yates. I think that's how you say his name. Harry Potter was always my go-to franchise when I was younger. It was my favorite for the longest time. Star Wars is now, but I think it might be the most consistent franchise ever made, maybe. There's no bad film in it, and this is by far, in my opinion, the best one. Not by far, actually. Prisoner of Azkaban comes close. This one is amazing. It is my favorite. I think it is easily the best one of them all, and I love it. Coming in at number 12 is Birdman, directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. I think that's how you say his name. Birdman features some of the best cinematography ever, with it all looking like one shot. That is fantastic. Michael Keaton gives the best performance I've ever seen from him, and even everyone is great. Edward Norton, Emma Stone, everyone in the film is fantastic. Now we're getting into our top 10 here. Number 10! La La Land, directed by Damien Chazelle. One of my favorite coming up directors that were born in the 2010s. La La Land is my second favorite film from him, even though I've only seen 2. La La Land is amazing. A Wonderful Night, maybe it's called. That scene, you know, it's on the poster. That scene is one of my favorite choreographed scenes of all time. It's one of my favorite scenes of the decade, and this film is gorgeous to look at. The 2 lead performances are great. I didn't know that Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone could sing and dance, and they really can. This film is great, and it should have won Best Picture. Number 9! Deadpool, directed by Tim Miller. Deadpool is my favorite Marvel film, not just like MCU, X-Men. Out of all them, Deadpool is my favorite. Ryan Reynolds is so funny. He's like maybe the funniest person alive right now, and this film, I've seen it a lot, and every time it's still hilarious. Basically every single joke lands. Django Unchained, coming from my favorite director currently, Quentin Tarantino. Jamie Foxx is great, Leonardo DiCaprio is great, Samuel L. Jackson is great, but the huge standout here is Christoph Waltz once again, just like he was in Inglourious Basterds, as Dr. Schultz. He is fantastic. I love him in this movie. I love everyone in the movie. Jamie Foxx is also fantastic, as I mentioned. DiCaprio is freaking insane. He is crazy in this film. The violence is over the top in all the best ways. I love everything about this film. 7. Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Maybe the best looking film on 4K. It's either this or The Dark Knight, or Dark Knight Rises. But this film is a masterpiece in every single way. I've only seen it once earlier this year, and I loved it. It is a long ass movie, but every minute you cherish it. It is gorgeous. The performances are great. Harrison Ford is also fantastic in this, but Ryan Gosling is easily the best in this, and the guy, he has probably made the most consistent films throughout the decade. I mean, look at how many times he's been on my list, and I haven't even seen every film he's been in. Number 6. The Dark Knight Rises, directed by Christopher Nolan. The Dark Knight Rises used to be my favorite of the Dark Knight trilogy. Now it is The Dark Knight, obviously. I know a lot of you will not agree with the spot on this list, but I love this film with all my heart. I have lots of nostalgia with it, and Bane is one of the coolest villains ever. Christian Bale being my favorite actor. He's easily the best Batman, and I like the voice, okay? Anne Hathaway is also great. 5. Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan. Back-to-back Nolan films, one of the best directors ever. Inception is another one of those really cool films, I'd say, and that's not an insult, obviously, being this high on the list. Inception is one of the best films of the decade, like, not just my favorite, but the best. And a lot of these films are, but it blew me away the first time I saw it, and I think I might have rewatched it once, but I really do need to see this film more. I love everything about it. Number 4. The Nice Guys, directed by Shane Black. The Nice Guys is one of the funniest films I think I've ever seen, but it's another one like one I'll talk about in the littlest bit, where it is smart comedy. It is crime and comedy mashed together with 2 lead performances that are just great. Russell Crowe is fantastic in this. Ryan Gosling, again, is phenomenal. He's so funny, and I love when he screams. Jesus! Number 3. The Wolf of Wall Street is possibly the funniest film ever made. But the thing about this one, as I just said, is it is smart. The best way I can describe this is smart, because there's crime and comedy. Martin Scorsese's direction, yes, this is directed by him, and I forgot to say it, but it is such a good film. I rewatched this one with my parents. Yeah. My number 1 and 2 could switch on rewatch. Keep that in mind. I do need to rewatch both these films, but for now, number 2, Prisoners, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Prisoners is one of my favorite thrillers I've ever seen. It features a fantastic performance by Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal. Everyone in the film is great. It is creepy. Paul Dano is really disturbing in this, but in all the best ways. Should I say it like that? Yeah. He is so good in this. I love everything about the film. It is depressing, and the final shot, some of the best cinematography I've ever seen. It was the first post on Instagram that I made about a film's cinematography. That's how good it is. Number 1. My pick for my favorite film of the 2010s is Whiplash, directed by Damien Chazelle. Whiplash features one of the best supporting performances ever in J.K. Simmons' Fletcher. This film is intense as hell. It features maybe the best finale of the entire decade, and not just my favorite, but maybe the best. Really shows the measures that some people go to and how insane it is. I love this film with all my heart. I love all these films. Thank you for watching this list, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below. Do you agree with mine, or do you not agree with some of mine? I know some of these picks, like The Dark Knight Rises, people will not agree with, but it's my list. Thank you all for watching. Another year. I'll see you next decade, or maybe in the decade that you're watching this. And I have plenty of great things coming. I will see you guys next time. Over and out.